Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast with Michael Lyons, round two. Mike is the CEO and the founder of Recovery System. Last time we spoke about his recovery boots. I have mine on right now. They feel quite comfortable. Obviously not the same quality as Mike's, but who knows, I'll buy them one day. Right now, Mike is onto AI sports tech application for recovery, which is highly interesting. We're going to discuss that today on the pod. This podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. That's my podcasting agency. If you want to start, scale, be invited to a podcast like this one. If you seek to monetize podcasting, I can be of great help. You can just Google Charles Cormier. You will find me on Google. You'll find more information about that. Mike, welcome to the pod again. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about what Recovery System's up to nowadays.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. Great to be back, particularly as we've had a couple of significant announcements in recent times. So firstly, Recovery Systems is a health and wellness company. We focus on three core segments. One is athlete recovery. Secondly, it's healthy aging, which I think is pretty much everybody. And the third is chronic pain and long-term illness. So that's kind of a snapshot of what we do. We get there. In the past, we've got there by via different product segments. One of them is active compression, which you discussed. The other are biomats. So biomats are like energy medicine for the body. So there's a kind of a snapshot. Now, we could see in the course of our business, because I have a coaching background. I've been coaching triathletes for around 15 years, and I competed for quite a period of time. I think I was up to around about 100 races by the time I retired from active competition and moved more into a healthy aging aspect of my life personally. But one thing we discovered in our involvement with different sports and talking to corporates and organizations is there wasn't a very good understanding of what recovery looked like. So over the last 9 months, we've built an AI-powered recovery coach called Recovery Insights. So what it does is take, for example, your data off your watch. So this is a Garmin, and after my workouts, it will typically say, well, you need to recover 20 hours, but it doesn't tell you what to do. So the gap that we're trying to bridge is to tell the athlete, prescribe activities, recovery activities, and recovery modalities in order for them to maximize their recovery and shorten their recovery time, obviously speed up their gains at the same time. So our approach to this is to be agnostic to the device. So I mentioned Garmin, but we will also read Apple Watch, Fitbit, Whoop, Oura Ring, Wahoo, and who have I missed out? There's Polar, there's a bunch of others, Sontor, Kronos, there's a bunch of others out there as well. So this will allow the athlete to also obviously record a history of their recovery. With some platforms like Garmin, we upload into the Garmin calendar, and eventually we'll upload into platforms like Training Peaks as well. Because we have significant performance improvement on the training stress score. So we've seen this happen over a period of time.
So many have attempted that before. Many have felt, even I want to start such a company or invest in one. First, how much funding did you get? How much you plan on getting? Because it seems that building such a business is really capital intensive to build the full software and API suite.
Yeah, you're right about that. We actually have, currently this is all privately funded. We have discussions at a beginning stage with an equity partner who liked what we were doing. And by the way, we were a finalist in Garmin's Health and Wellness Awards for 2023 at their global annual conference, which was 2 weeks ago. So we're it's kind of hot off the press. We timed our official launch in time for the conference, although the platform's been live for a while. Ultimately, Charles, I think you've already alluded to this. We plan to turn the platform into a marketplace. So we'll have associated solutions involved in what we're doing, because some of what we do or some of what we're recommending is our own products. Quite frankly, they deserve to be there because we influence circulatory benefits, metabolic waste removal, delivery back of fresh nutrients to speed up healing, recovery and gains, cell and nerve regeneration, joint inflammation improvement. So there's a whole lot, as well as, of course, sleep. There's a whole lot of things that we do influence in a very holistic way, but we're not a total solution. So we actually cover things that we don't do, and they're holistically in there as a part of what we would recommend to the athlete. And so that's based on some machine learning. It's also based on the good old 10,000 hours of coaching as well over the years, and understanding the process. But we're getting a good helping hand from the AI as well.
Right, and focusing on recovery, right? Would there also be a performance aspect to it, because recovery and performance sort of go hand in hand?
Yeah, so training makes you worse. Training is a stimulus, and of course we want to keep the stimulus within our ability to recover in the first place. So having good recovery tools is not an excuse to overtrain. And in actual fact, you may put your body into some turmoil to the point where it can't recover, and you're kind of digging yourself into a hole. So I think that's the first thing to understand. And what we're doing is bridging the gap, either due to age, like I'm 65 in a couple of months' time. My powers of recovery have declined over the years, and I'm still active. However, our products give me a helping hand in order to bridge the gap from my training load or my workload and my recovery, so that I can keep up. And by the same token, an athlete who has a chronic training load also needs a helping hand. So we're kind of load balancing that effort and recovery, and giving the athlete a helping hand from a product sense, but also from an AI sense, from a recommendation point of view.
And what kind of recommendations could I expect with my Oura Ring and Apple Watch?
Yeah, so the first platform that we're reading is Garmin, and we did so because we were a nominee in the global platform. It will follow with all the other platforms. We will be reading things like HRV, sleep numbers over time, training load, training intensity, training duration, and even climates taken into consideration with the recommendation, because we know that certain climatic conditions will put more stress on the body than others. So a whole lot of factors involved there.
And is it only for athletes or also CEOs and founders like myself?
It's very much across our segments: athlete, healthy aging, chronic pain, long-term illness. So we know that work stress is body stress, for example, and life stress is body stress equals body stress. So it's not only for people that are voluntarily taking on athletic load and athletic stress through training. It's also considering people's lifestyles and the stress that they may be under, and hopefully helping them to balance themselves out there.
For the company, what percentage of energy and resources will you invest in the physical boots and technology via that new software platform?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We don't exactly know. At the moment, we've probably got a quarter of our efforts focused on the AI, and that's been a longer term underlying theme, while it's been business as usual with our main business. For example, we just launched a calf sleeve. So this is a pump that fits from the ankle to the calf, and it's pumping. There's an algorithm that has 3 protocols, one for warm-up, one for flush, in other words, athletic recovery, and the other for general massage. So we've just launched that product, very successful. It's around $300 US. It also fits on your arms. So it's either for legs or arms, and you can walk around with it. So it's very convenient. I wore mine on the long haul flight over here, and I actually, if I'm going to an activity and driving to an activity, I'll have it on in the car while I'm driving. Doesn't interfere with your driving. So yeah, whilst that's been going on, our development team have been very busy on updating and preparing for the launch. The soft launch was about 2+ months ago. The actual launch was during the conference, during the Garmin Global Conference. So yeah, probably around a quarter of our effort is being spent on recovery insights at this time.
What challenges do you think you'll face in the meanwhile?
So looking at this space, there's just tons of stuff happening. As far as we saw at the Garmin conference, which showcased a lot of apps, there's a lot happening in the fintech sector. For example, in the insurance sector, and most of those apps are measuring activity in order to help people to lower premiums. So it's kind of like a reward basis. But there's nobody doing, as far as we can see, there's nobody doing specifically what we're doing across multiple platforms, which is our ultimate end game. So there's a bit of noise out there, and there's a bit of, oh, isn't that similar to that? No, you're measuring movement and activity. We're taking a recovery component and making sure people are actually balancing their load by recovering properly.
Right. And what will be your growth strategy? If you have the capital, you're building the #1 app out there, which already seems to be a difficult goal. What will be your growth strategy? Will you partner up with fitness influencers and top CEOs and have them promote the app, for example, and the benefits of recovery that it has on their performances and so forth? Partner with top brands, fetch the most API possibles. What will be your growth strategy on that level?
Yeah. So we've already been approached to white label the app. So there's major gyms that are looking into the space but don't really know how to go about. They're not technology focused. I spent 30 years in tech, by the way, prior to launching our business 8 years ago in the recovery space. All that time I was coaching as well, so I was really plugged into the endurance sport community. So look, it could be a white label, it could be an acquisition. There could be somebody out there that wants to get to where they want to go very quickly. So rather than spend time on developing, it could be that they want to acquire a company like ours. So that would be a consideration for us as well.
Cool. So your objectives in terms of 2024, we're already or soonish to be December, right? The month in which we reflect on the current year, what you've accomplished first. Tell us about like these accomplishments of 2023 and how that will shape your goals for 2024.
Yeah, so the Recovery Insights, our AI coach, recovery coach, has been a major play because it's taken us from being a pure product company who had a vision around recovery to somebody to a company that's actually influencing, or hopefully influencing, the quality of people's recovery. In other words, changing the outcomes of turning training into actual results. So we think that's a fairly significant play and a fairly significant differentiator from from a philosophical point of view of where we stand as a company and why we're doing the sort of things that we're doing. So we've avoided some things in the market because we don't think they're that important, and we're really focusing on things that we think can move the needle for our customers. And by the way, this app is open to anyone. It's free, and it's open to anyone currently that owns a Garmin, and in the not too distant future, it'll be other platforms as well.
Where can people find out more about you, Mike?
Okay, so I've got Recovery Systems Sport is our website. Recovery Systems is our Instagram. They would be the two easiest places to find us. And hopefully, Charles, you can post the links to the Recovery Insights app, and people are welcome to download it, particularly at this stage if they've got a Garmin. As I mentioned, it's the first platform that we're working with. Others will follow in the not too distant future, and download it. What you see now, so we've had quite an evolution, quite an acceleration over the last month. So what they see now and what they see in a month's time will be slightly different. So we're adding to the stack the whole time. So recently we put in something that looks like a training stress score. So in other words, there's your recovery trajectory if you don't do any recovery or any structured recovery, and we're showing them what the upside would be, or how much faster they would recover if they take on board our recovery prescription.
I was Michael Lyons and Charles Cormier for another CEO Wisdom Podcast, round 2. Make sure to check out Michael's business. I do think it's going to be a successful one, which I'm definitely going to help, as I am a strong believer into recovery and AI and the current app that Michael is building. Michael Lyons on LinkedIn, Charles Cormier on LinkedIn, CEOWisdompodcast.com.